Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 3060 Ti in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. This one is the Founders Edition model of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech PowerUp's GPU 0 Sassable bar is also enabled, and we got 8GB of GDDR6 to work with. And over on the left, we're pairing it with a Ryzen 9 7950X3D. Yes, super overkill for a 3060 Ti, but you should get the same FPS if you pair it with something like a Ryzen 7 5800X or even like a Ryzen 5 5600X. And over on the memory tab, we're using 32GB of DDR5 6000MHz in dual channel. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's go over the settings first. I'm starting at 1080p, and we're also going to test 1440p and 4K. We're using no upscaling at the moment. It's turned off, so it means that we're running at native resolution, and we're using the high settings preset without motion blur. The only thing I changed is the motion blur. Okay, so here we are getting 60-ish frames per second. The game is looking gorgeous as usual. I've actually been playing for a while with the RTX 3060 Ti today, for about like an hour or so, and I played an entire mission with it, and it was a pretty alright experience, although I used DLSS because it does drop from 60 frames per second here at native resolution, especially during nighttime. Apparently, daytime is not as intensive. This is also a new area that I unlocked, you know. If I go to the map right here, you can see it. Hopefully I didn't wreck the FPS too much there. But yeah, the game looks pretty similar everywhere you go, actually, at least so far from what I've seen, because it's all forest, basically. During the night, it does look way different, because a lot of things glow, you know, and you lose about like 10 frames per second. But yeah, during the day, as you can see, things look and play really well with the 3060 Ti. I kind of was expecting a little bit better performance before I started playing Avatar here, but, you know, I think the performance is justified given how good this game looks. Look at that. Look at those textures over here. Let's stop it right there and let's enable DLSS, alright? And for this one, I'm actually going to use the fixed mode because the biased mode right here is way more intensive. I saw way lower FPS using biased quality DLSS, so we're going to use fixed quality DLSS, which is just the default quality DLSS that you see in all of the other games, basically. This looks extremely similar to native resolution. If you're running a native 1080p monitor, I doubt you will be able to tell the difference. Maybe it's slightly, very, very slightly softer, but it's not going to be noticeable, really. And the textures still look amazing, of course, even though they're being upscaled from a 720p image. They're still there, obviously. Oh boy, oh, they're still following me. What the heck? Freaking Bobs, right? Actually, we haven't found Bob yet in this game. That can't be Bob. Well, maybe it can, actually. It's Bob from another planet. Goodbye. Goodbye. I really don't... Oh, maybe it's Jack, actually. What was I thinking, right? Jack is here. So many Jacks, actually. Why don't you like me, Jack, in this one? Maybe he just wants a hug. I don't know. Some things that I noticed with DLSS enabled is that there is a little bit more noise, like in the water, for example, and you can also spot it sometimes, like over there, for example. There's a little bit, very tiny bit of noise, but it's kind of unnoticeable if you're not really licking walls and stuff like that. So this is, again, how I've been playing the game for the last hour, playing through the missions and so on. It was always above 60 frames per second, and it looks amazing still. Now, this game also has frame generation, but only when FSR 3 is enabled. I also noticed that FSR 3 gives a little bit sharper of an image than DLSS in this game, but it also pixelates it more, so I prefer DLSS. But if you want to use frame generation for now, you will need to use FSR 3 even with a 40 series GPU. Okay guys, FSR 3 is now running with frame generation on top, quality upscaling fixed, okay, still, and oh boy. Oh, that's looking really good. Look at that. Oh, up to 120 frames per second looking in this direction. Damn. Unfortunately, looking back in this direction, things aren't really as buttery smooth, but it's still getting 90s, you know? I mean, it is buttery smooth, but I thought it was going to be like 100 plus all over the time. This is way more stable than what I experienced with FSR 3 and frame generation back in Forsbroken. That implementation was completely terrible. 1% lows right here are pretty low, actually, probably because of the little variation in the frame time graph, but that's just something to do with the on-screen display. It's not really affecting smoothness whatsoever. It still feels very, very smooth indeed. And on top of everything else, it is looking fantastic. Like, aside from the water in this game looks very weak. Also, the flickering clouds, guys, those happen with any form of upscaling enabled. It's not due to FSR, it's just the game itself. They probably need to fix that. Oh, what the hell? We just clipped through something. Wow, this is looking great. What am I hearing? Ooh, some mechs over there. We need to get them bastards, right? They are destroying the forest. Let's go. Ooh, whoa, yeah. Maybe okay. Didn't lose any HP or much of it, actually. All right, let's go. Come on. Bow and arrow. Oh, I don't have many arrows. Okay, just gonna go with this then. These guys drop some bullets, so we should be fine. Let's go. Ooh, I'm low HP. I'm super low. What the hell? Oh, I died. Whoa. All right, that was hard. What the heck? Now, in terms of visuals, FG does impact the image a little bit, even though it looks really good. I can see that it's a bit softer, it's a bit more shimmery as well than native res or just FSR 3 enabled without frame generation. But hey, it gives you more FPS, so there's that. If you prefer this experience, go ahead and do it. I wouldn't really play like this since with DLSS quality it was already a really smooth experience. I'm gonna use ultra quality right here, okay, under the FSR 3, and okay, that fixes a little bit of the noisy things that I was seeing. If you look especially around the weapon, you can clearly tell that some things are pretty weird, like it's super noisy down the iron sights, you know? What the hell? Yeah, okay. That doesn't look very good. But if you're not pixel peeping, again, you can get a really, really smooth experience with FSR 3 and frame generation enabled. And still a good-looking image at the same time. You know what? Let me try native resolution here, just to see how much it drops in this area. Ooh, into the 40s. Look at that. Holy crap! This area is really intensive. Why? Is it the water? Oh my god. Dude. Okay, so you already know it's gonna drop into the 40s. I told you it was gonna drop into the 40s, but only at night. Didn't expect to see this area here. Anyways, moving on to 1440p resolution now. Here we go, 2560 by 1440, no upscalers, high settings preset. I think we should also try it on medium, maybe, because, yeah, this is really intensive, although it is absolutely gorgeous compared to 1080p. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. This game, man, aside from the water, like, why did they put this water inside of this game? It's so weird. Everything else looks insane. If they had put, like, Far Cry 4's water, I think it would look better than this. Honestly, guys. I don't know. Maybe it's just nostalgia talking, but Far Cry 4's water looked pretty decent back in 2014 when it came out. Or 13, yeah, 14, I think. Anyway, let's move on. Ooh, we found some Ark Survival Evolved Easter egg. I mean, Survival Ascended, yeah. Basically, the entire world in Survival Ascended is like this. It has floating things like that, floating vegetation. Oh boy. Also, VRAM usage is pretty good. Again, that's allocated VRAM. It might have swapped some things into the RAM as well. Ooh, I'm gonna die if I make this jump. Should we? Let's go! Oh, yeah, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We're gonna leave. Yes! Started to doubt myself a little bit sometimes. Ooh, it's actually dropping from 30. Look at that, 29 frames per second. Look in this direction. Okay. That is pretty low. So we definitely need some DLSS. Quality, I mean, it probably won't get 60 FPS. Yep, 40s. Damn, that's so intensive. Holy crap. This area right here is probably the most intensive area that I've seen so far, actually. That's crazy. Like 45 FPS or 43. Look in this direction, 60. Okay, I'm gonna try to go with balanced DLSS because that looks really similar to quality at 1440p. You can tell a little bit of a difference, you know, but it's not major. And we definitely need those extra frames per second. Yeah, getting 50s here. Still drops into the 40s, of course. Look in this direction from there. Yeah, it's when the water is on screen, everything just gets a little bit wrecked. All right, let's kill the bastard. Kill the bastard. Kill the bastard. Kill the bastard. There we go. And there are more. Okay, okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm low HP. I'm really low HP already. Why? Why are you attacking me like there are aliens right there? They're aliens to you. I'm not an alien to you. Please help me fight them bastards. Come on, buddy. Is that Jack? It could be, right? Oh boy. Alright, that one is down. Come on. Come on. And that one is down as well. Thank you. Oh, see? Finally, they actually did it, my friends. They helped us. Yeah, that water looks like vomit at this point. Look at this. Look at all of those dots. It's such a shame. Again, it is a big, big shame that water looks like this, especially with upscaling enabled. It makes it even worse. Everything else is so gorgeous. Why did you screw up the water, Ubisoft? There we go. This is it for DLSS balanced at 1440p. I wouldn't do performance because that starts looking pretty bad, you know. So I'm gonna set FSR 3 once again to quality, fixed, and enable frame generation. Here we go, 1440p, FSR 3 with frame generation and set to quality fixed there. And I wouldn't really do like balanced and stuff like that because that starts looking really rough with frame generation on top. But here with quality, we're getting above 60 frames per second all of the time, I guess. It's not looking bad by any means, although, again, it's a little bit noisy in some parts of the image. But hey, this is a great option if you have like a 27-inch 1440p monitor with high PPI. It's gonna look really good and it's gonna feel really damn smooth. Again, with a little bit of added input lag because of frame generation. What the hell happened there? But as long as it stays above like 75 frames per second, I'm fine with the added input lag. It's not a competitive shooter anyways, so it works pretty well with the frame generation enabled here. I like what I'm seeing. Again, 1% lows are a little bit too low, but that's not really noticeable whatsoever. It's, again, because of the little variation on the frame time graph that happens with frame generation from AMD. With that said, I think this is the way I would play this game at 1440p with the 3060 Ti. FSR 3 to the rescue, my friends. It's doing a great job. It's looking great. Maybe a little bit worse than balanced DLSS, but sharper at the same time. It's just a little bit more pixelated and noisy. But it gets 60 plus 100% of the time. So I will take it. Time for 3840 by 2160 4K resolution, and I'm not gonna do native res or quality DLSS or not even balanced DLSS. I'm gonna go for performance DLSS because I've seen it looks very good with the RTX 4080 and high settings still. And look at this. Aside from the water, again, which is very lackluster, as I've said countless times in this video, this image is even better than like native 1440p. I think it's doing a fantastic job of upscaling the 1080p image that it's running on internally to 4K, and it's just insane. This look is insane. I absolutely love this. Holy crap. Again, it's such a big shame that Nvidia doesn't allow you to use their frame generation with this, because Nvidia's frame generation is really, really clean, you know? It doesn't have noise issues. It makes things a little bit softer, but it looks very, very good. Maybe it even adds a little bit more input lag than FSR 3's frame generation does, but still, it would have been a great experience. It would probably get us like 80, 90 frames per second here. But yeah, that's a dream that is never going to come true. Okay, let's stop it there and let's use FSR 3 on performance. This is without frame generation right now. I just want to see how it looks. Yeah, a little bit noisy, especially around that iron sight right there. Like in the middle of it, it looks super, super noisy. You can clearly see it. But aside from that, everything else looks pretty impressive, like vegetation here, and especially if you stop and take a look at things, it looks insane. Alright, the game just crashed when I selected frame generation, so I needed to restart everything. But here we go, FSR 3, frame generation is on, still using performance upscaling here, okay? And unfortunately, I'm seeing just a little bit higher FPS than we saw at DLSS performance and FSR performance without frame generation. So I don't think this is a good way to play the game. If it was doubling or maybe adding like 30 FPS to what we saw previously, I would definitely enable frame generation because it still doesn't look terrible, especially if you sit further away from a monitor. I'm using a 42-inch monitor at about an arm's length, a little bit higher than that, you know. Oh, where are we? Why did I spawn here this time around? I don't understand. Oh, hi. I think they saw me, yep. Alright, let's go away. Ooh! Why do they take so much HP off of me? Holy crap, these guys are strong. Anyway, not many of you are playing at 4K with a 3060 Ti, right? So let's stop it right there and play on medium settings. Here we go, guys. Back to 1080p using no upscaling and the medium settings preset with no motion blur as usual. And it still looks really good. It's starting to look a little bit like Ark Survival Evolved in some ways. Or Survival Ascended, actually. Excuse me, it's been years calling it Survival Evolved, you know? But anyway, we're back here getting 70s. Like, this is well above 60. But once again, I saw that tree over there flickering a little bit as well. Like, let me check. Maybe it has already loaded it and it's not gonna happen again. Yeah, it's not happening again. Okay. Maybe it just needs to load some things for the first time and it's gonna look a little bit weird, but then it's gonna be fine. Okay, I think that's what we're seeing here. But yeah, we're getting 60 plus FPS all of the time at medium settings. That's a much better experience if you want that native resolution experience, guys. I would definitely recommend it. It doesn't look terrible either, aside from the water. Everything looks really good still. But yeah, even though everything is on medium under the textures, it still looks insane. Look at that. Especially for the amount of VRAM it consumes. And especially because it's not stuttering yet whatsoever. Like, other games have way weaker textures than this one does. And they look terrible. Compared to this, at least. Okay, so no need to use DLSS here, but I'm gonna try it on like quality for a little bit, guys. Let's see how it does. Really good. Whoa, 100 plus FPS basically at this point. Well, not really. Still drops into the 80s looking that direction. But yeah, it's gonna become a little bit smoother for those of you running high refresh rate monitors, which should be most people on the 3060 Ti, right? So let's stop it there right before we hit the water and let's play at 1440p. Here we go, 2560 by 1440. Let me disable upscaling, so we're playing at native resolution first. Oh, already down into the 40s. Increasing resolution is so intensive in this title, guys. I guess it must be because basically the entire map is vegetation and water, and those two things are usually pretty intensive things in games to render. So with the increase in resolution comes a lot more detail, and you gotta apply it, of course, to all of these vegetation thingies, and yeah, it just gets wrecked. I'm actually gonna select the quality DLSS first here at 1440p, and now we're back to the same values that we were seeing at 1080p, and it is looking fantastic. Oh my god, these guys have a ton of HP. I'm gonna run away. I am gonna run away instead. I don't care. We need to go. Yes, jump pads over here. We're that guy from Apex Legends now. But yeah, guys, this is now a buttery smooth experience with really good visuals still, aside from that. And it is playing fantastic. 60 plus FPS all of the time. And now let's go up to 4K resolution. I'm actually going to try it at native first. Here we go, 3840 by 2160, no FSR or DLSS are enabled, and oh my goodness, this is so detailed. These textures look like crap though, but the other ones, like especially vegetation, look at that detail. Medium textures right here, guys. What the actual hell? This single leaf has more detail. Look at the droplets of water as well on top of it. It has more detail than Starfield, than an entire city of Starfield. I'm obviously exaggerating, but they said that Starfield was a next-gen title. It looks super next-gen. What you might need to upgrade your PC to play this game. It's so good-looking. Come on. Seriously, we got this game now. Obviously, the FPS were crap there, so let's try it with performance DLSS now. And alright. Oh, it's still dropping, guys. It still drops into the 50s and 40s. Maybe it's slightly better than what we saw previously at high with performance DLSS, but yeah, it's still not quite 60. I was really expecting 60 plus using these settings. I'm a little bit disappointed at the moment, but hey, again, the game looks insanely good like this. There are some pop-in issues that weren't really present, or as noticeable at least, on high settings, and those are not present 100% using Ultra settings. Like, Ultra has some insane draw distance in this game. But yeah, I think that's been it for this one, my friends. I'm not going to try it with frame generation here because it doesn't really make that big of a difference as we saw at the high settings, right? Just going to use like Ultra Performance just for fun, okay? I don't recommend Ultra Performance. It definitely starts looking pretty bad and it still drops from 60 FPS. Yeah, DLSS in this game, well, it's enough to make it playable at 4K because it definitely wasn't playable before. We got like 20-something FPS. But it's not enough to put us above 60 FPS the entire time. And that's about it. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know if you're buying this game with a 3060 Ti. Let me know what you thought about the performance here and the visuals. And I'll catch you guys in the next one very soon. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.